This is the second video of the series. We are now going to look at Catholic schools today. Is the Catholic school system in Australia similar to those in other countries?
Shirley, actually it's quite different, and I think this is probably because we're a young nation and that at the time of European settlement, Catholics were of the lower class. They were often ex-convicts or immigrants from Ireland because of the potato famine. Many of those people wouldn't have been educated themselves, and their children could go to the government schools, but they weren't getting taught the catechism or the Catholic faith. A number of the bishops wrote home to the congregations they knew in their own towns or cities and invited sisters and brothers to come out and set up the Catholic school system. And so that's how our parish primary school system was set up, by the generosity of all these young religious coming over to Australia. Many of the brothers and sisters set up secondary schools in country towns and in the cities, and many of them were boarding schools. It's amazing to go around Victoria and find the variety of religious orders that set up the primary school, and the convent was the secondary school and a boarding school. Quite amazing. The aim of these Catholic schools was to educate the lower class poor Catholics, raise them up really so that they could take their place in society, and we know how successful that's been. These schools would have been called confessional schools. They were set up by religious orders. Most of them would have been taught by sisters and some lay people. The community who went there, the parents and children, would have mainly been Catholic, and they would have been good Catholics in those times. They would have been at Mass on Sunday and receiving the sacraments and obeying the church rules. The catechism would have been taught. Mass would have been provided, and regular confession would have been organised through the school as well. Well, how different is that to our schools today? Over the years, the number of lay people, teachers in the schools increased because, of course, the population of Australia grew, and the sisters couldn't keep up with that, or the brothers. So lay people were first introduced as teachers in the schools. And then probably 50 years ago, lay principals came into the schools. And now we'd find that most secondary schools would have lay principals. But the census data and the church life survey data would show that the age group of the parents and the children in our schools and the teachers, that age group are not really regular churchgoers, according to all the surveys. So for many people in our school community, the school is the only connection they have with church. Since Vatican II, the role of the Catholic school has really changed. It is there to be a place where the gospel is preached every day. The Catholic schools are to be places that the kingdom of God is celebrated, that everyone is welcome, that everybody is cared for, that community is important. Social justice, outreach to those on the edge of society, that's really important. And of course, we recognise that Australia is a multi-faith community, and our schools reflect that. In one of the schools in Melbourne, on their uniform list, they have a headscarf with the school badge on it for the Muslim girls. So it just shows you how different our schools are from the beginning. All Catholic schools see religious education and spiritual education as a high priority. Prayer and liturgy are the ways that the schools would tap into the richness of the Catholic tradition, and also the use of symbols, artwork, statues. They're used to show a school is a Catholic school, so when people go into the school, they know that it's a Catholic school. Pope Francis, in his Joy of the Gospel, he says that a Catholic school has the role of evangelising the surrounding culture. That's quite interesting. They're also to be places of outreach to those on the edge, and they're to be witnesses of the Catholic tradition. The challenge is, I suppose, for school boards and school council is how to maintain this Catholic identity into the future. Thank you.